So before watching this tutorial, I highly recommend you watch the previous tutorial on stack and heap memory. Otherwise, this might not make a whole bunch of sense unless you're familiar with stack and heap memory. Now let's take a look at this example here. We're looking at some method passing now, passing some parameters into a method. Then we're going to modify some values. So just consider this example here. It's quite simple. In the main method of the application here, I'm defining two value type variables here. Now these are stored in the stack area of memory, they're value types. And then I'm outputting the values for these variables to the console window. I'm then calling a method called reset, and I'm passing both of these value type variables into this method right here. I'm resetting these variables which are being passed into 0, and then I'm outputting them to the console window. Once the method is finished executing, control is passed back up here, and then I'm outputting the values of these variables again. And then I'm keeping the console window open. Question, what do you think the output would be? Well, let's take a look at what the output actually is. So I'm going to run the program now. So the value of num1 is 6, the value of num2 is 4, and then the value inside the method is 0 because we're resetting them, and then after the method is run, 6 and 4. Is that what you expected? Perhaps so. But now look at this other example. So let's take a look at this example here. It's very similar to the previous example, but instead of using a simple value type like an integer, we're using a reference type. And reference types, like we talked about before, are stored in the heap area of the memory, and a pointer to that data is stored on the stack. So what we're doing, we're instantiating a video game object. If I go to the video game class, you can see it's quite simple. It has one private field here called title and one public property called title, which controls getting and setting of this field here. So very simple. We're setting the title for the video game here to World of Warcraft, and then we're outputting it to the window. So we're getting the title before a method is called. Now we're changing the title here. So in this method, it takes in a video game object, and then we're outputting something to the window. And we're outputting it to the window inside the method, but before we change the title of the game. Inside this method, we're changing the game title to changed, so something different. And then after the method is finished executing, we're outputting the game title again. Now, what do you think will happen this time? Okay, let's take a look at the result. So if I run the application, you can see here the game title before the method is World of Warcraft. The game title inside the method is World of Warcraft. And remember, inside the method, this is before the change has taken place. But after the method has finished executing, we come back to main and output this here. However, you can see it's retaining the value which we changed it to inside the method. So why is this? Why are these changes being persisted from changes inside methods for reference types, but not value types? What is going on here? Well, allow me to explain. So I'm coming back to the previous example now where we had two simple value types here, two integers, and we passed them into a method here. Now in CSharp, when passing objects, whether they're value types or reference types as parameters to methods, by default, these are passed as value. They are passed by value unless explicitly noted they should be passed by reference. We're going to talk about passing by reference later, but consider the default, which is getting passed by value here. So what does passing by value mean? Well, by default, when you call a method and pass in these two parameters here, a copy of this data is created. So here we have a value of 6 in num1 and a value of 4 in num2. We're calling this method here. Inside this method, it receives a copy of these variables. So it's not pointing to the same area as memory of these. These are literally copied. And then the method actually works with a duplicate copy of these variables. And this is what it means when being passed by value. So any work we do inside this method here is done with a copy of these variables. And when the method has finished executing and control is returned here, we lose everything inside here because this is a duplicate copy and it only exists within the method. So once the method is finished, we have no knowledge of this unless we specifically return something out of here. So that is an example of passing a value type into a method and it's being passed by value. It doesn't affect anything outside of the method. So coming back to our other example here where we changed the name of the video game object. If I'm passing data by value, then why is this change persisting outside of the method? Surely this doesn't make sense. Well, this is because we're passing a reference type by value. Like I said, when you pass parameters to methods, by default it's by value. However, we're passing a reference type. So remember before we talked about reference types, which are complicated objects. They can be arrays, lists, all things like that. And this is stored in the heap area of the memory. But like I said, there's a pointer which is stored in the stack area of memory, which points to this data in the heap. So when this method is called, yes, it is copied to the method, but the heap memory is not copied. Only the pointer on the stack is copied. Now this seems counterintuitive really, because yes, we're passing this reference object by value. However, because it's a reference object, we're only merely copying the pointer. So inside this method here, we're working with a copy of the pointer, which is stored in stack memory. However, it still points to the same area of memory on the heap. So in this main method, we're pointing to the area of memory on the heap, but also inside this method, even though we're working with a copy of the pointer on the stack, it's still pointing to that area of memory on the heap. So this is why the title still changes, because even though we're working with a copy of the pointer, it still points to that same area of memory. So this is why the title still changes inside the method. And we can see here, once the method has been called, the change is still persisted after the method's execution in here. I appreciate this is quite a lot to take in, but if you look at the previous tutorial and also this one a couple more times, you will understand it and you will get it, I promise. So when I said a copy of the pointer is passed into this method here, for example, if I now work with this copy of the pointer, so this game here, I can initialize a new object, so a new instance. And what that does, it allocates a new area of memory here. So I'm working with the copy of the pointer right here, but I'm saying, okay, now create a new object on this copy of the pointer. So what this is going to do, this is going to work with an entirely new copy of the data and put this on the heap. So what we're doing here, once the method has been called, we're outputting the game's title here. In fact, let's put this here now. So we have a new instance of game. We're setting the title of this new instance to changed, and then we're outputting it. And we're still outputting the title after the method here. What do you think will happen now? Well, let's take a look. So let's run the program. You can see now something slightly different has happened. We have our original title at the start here. Then inside the method, it's been changed. However, after the method now, it still retained its original title from before. So why is this? What is going on here? Like I mentioned, this is a reference type. By default, it gets passed by value. Inside the method, we have a copy of this reference type's pointer, which is in stack memory. We're now giving it a new memory location and setting that new location to changed. However, outside of the method, this has no knowledge of this new memory location. This is only inside the method that this is happening. So only inside this method has the knowledge of this new area of memory on the heap and that we're pointing to it. However, this change is not persisted outside of the method. So rather than working with an existing copy of the pointer, which again will affect the heap just like out of here, we're actually allocating a new memory area on the heap and pointing our copy of the pointer to that. And that is why this happens. So let's take a look at one more example here. Again, this is going to have pretty much the same output as our previous reference type, which was an instance of a video game object. But here we have another reference type, a list. And again, it could be any reference type. It could be an array, it could be a dictionary, it could be many different things. So this again is stored in heap memory, a list with 4 integers. We're outputting the count of the list, and then we're passing the list to this method. Now by default it's passed as value, but this is a reference type, so a copy of the pointer is copied to the method. Now the method can work with a copy of the pointer, which points conveniently to the same area on heap memory as this one outside the method. We're then adding 2 numbers to the list, then outputting the list count. Once the method is ended, we're outputting the list count again. What do you think the results will be? Well, let's take a look. You can see the counts of 466, and that's because the method is adding 2 numbers, and once we're out here, is pointing to the same area of heap memory, so it's going to retain that count. So now, in the method, if I just modify the list slightly here, so now inside the method, this list is being passed again as value, but it's a copy of the pointer. So with the copy of the pointer, I'm now pointing it to a brand new area of heap memory and then adding 2 numbers to this brand new list. What do you think the output will be now? So let's run the program. You can see we have 424. So you can see our initial list has 4, so that's correct. Inside the method, we're creating a brand new list, so it only has 2 numbers inside. So that's where the 2 comes from. And now the method is finished. We still have access to this original area in heap memory, and it's outputting the 4. So you can see it works with all different types of reference types, and this is default behavior of methods in C#. So I'm going to come full circle now. At the start of the previous tutorial, I said, why do I need to know about stack and heap memory? Why is it important? Well, you can see if you don't have any knowledge of stack and heap memory and value type variables and reference type variables, then unexpected things can happen. And unexpected things are quite a big problem in software. For obvious reasons. So this is why it's important, and here's an example of this in practice.